Ask yourself a blunt question to start. Who owns your future? The person you intend to become, or the promise you already sold to yesterday? Because that's what debt is fundamentally: the sale of tomorrow's attention, time, and labor to pay for today's comfort or yesterday's avoidance. And if you don't believe that, try not working for a month and see who calls you first. It isn't your highest ideals, it's the lender. So let's use precise language. Debt is a kind of soft slavery, contractual, legal, and increasingly moral, because it binds your choices, narrows your horizon, and colonizes your imagination with one constant drumbeat: you owe. Now, fair enough. Some debt can be strategic. Tools, not chains. A modest mortgage within your means. A carefully priced education with demonstrable return. Capital for a disciplined business. But that isn't what's sinking most people. What sinks them is unconscious accumulation. The small yeses that add up to a loud no to freedom. Just this once. I deserve it. Everyone does this. And underneath those phrases is something older and darker: the refusal to look at the serpent head on. The wisdom text says the borrower becomes servant to the lender. That isn't mere poetry, it's a psychological fact. When you owe, you rehearse subordination each month. You literally practice kneeling before something less than your highest good. Do that often enough, and you forget what standing straight even feels like. So what do? You could rationalize, you could blame the system, you could insist that prosperity will arrive any minute and rescue you like a deus ex machina. People do that for years, by the way. Or you can decide today to face it. Because the way out of bondage is the way through responsibility, and there isn't a clever alternative. Freedom is paid for in advance. Let me give you an image. After tyranny, the people wander the desert. They don't walk out of Egypt and land in a resort. They walk into heat, exposure, and hunger. And when they complain, the snakes appear. Fear, scarcity, panic. What's the cure? Not magic removal of snakes. Lift the serpent on a pole. Look at it directly. Voluntary exposure to what terrifies you. In modern terms, radical financial clarity. Numbers, all of them, in one place, in plain sight. You will feel the poison rise when you do this. Good. That's the point. Because you can't drain a wound you refuse to uncover. Here's the sequence, and it's not glamorous. Put the truth in one place. Open one sheet of paper or one simple spreadsheet. Every balance, every interest rate, every minimum, every monthly bill. No rounding down. Don't optimize yet. Observe. The anxiety that shows up, that's your nervous system telling you the dragon is real. Good. Now you can aim. Sort by tyranny, not by convenience. Order debts by interest rate, then by balance. Interest is the tax you pay for not deciding. Target the highest rate first, the psychological serpent head. Keep paying minimums on the rest. If you need early wins, take one small balance first to prove movement, then go right back to the highest rate. Momentum is moral here. It teaches you that sacrifice transforms chaos into order. Cut consumption with meaning, not self-hatred. People do two foolish things. They either keep spending and hope, or they punish themselves with joyless austerity and quit. Don't do either. Identify 3 spending categories that don't align with your story of who you're trying to be. Cut those dramatically. Keep one modest, deliberate pleasure, weekly coffee with a friend, a book per month, so your nervous system learns that discipline isn't deprivation, it's stewardship. You are training a future ruler, not whipping a slave. Make the payments visible and ceremonial, automate the minimums. Then schedule your attack payment on the target debt immediately after income hits. Name it in your calendar. Freedom transfer. Not a joke. Language shapes attention. Attention shapes action. Action shapes character. Character pays debts. Build a small buffer fast. Yes, but emergencies. Exactly. Set a micro-emergency fund. 1 month of essential expenses as quickly as possible. This is not optional. Without it, one flat tire sends you back to Egypt. With it, setbacks become training, not trauma. Raise your earning ceiling. Don't just lower the floor. A budget is defensive. Skills and service are offensive. Pick a single competence that the market rewards. Writing clearly, selling honestly, fixing something people hate fixing, and stack deliberate practice for 60-90 minutes daily. That time will feel expensive. It is. That's why it compounds. Debt freedom is not only subtraction, it's multiplication of value. Negotiate reality like an adult. Call the creditors. Polite, calm, prepared. Here's my balance, rate, and history. Here's what I can commit to. Here's a plan. Can we lower the rate or settle a portion if I pay on schedule? Will it always work? No. Will it sometimes? Yes. But more importantly, you will become the kind of person who speaks with the serpent instead of fleeing it. That generalizes to everything. Join a small band of the willing shame isolates. Isolation breeds relapse. 3 trusted people, weekly 30-minute check-in. Debt totals, payment made, no spend wins, 1 skill upgraded, 1 temptation faced. Keep it clinical and kind. The group becomes your desert community, manna for motivation. Now, deeper than tactics, let's address the moral spine. Debt thrives on 2 habits, avoidance and incoherence. Avoidance says, I'll think about it later. Incoherence says, I want 6 different lives at once. You cannot be free while serving that many masters, not financially, not psychologically, not spiritually. So you need a hierarchy of values, top to bottom, in writing, family, health, work, community, worship, learning. Order your money to match your values, not the algorithm's suggestions. Every time you align a dollar with your highest aim, you weaken the chains you forged by accident. But it's hard. Of course it's hard. Freedom worthy of the name requires strength proportional to the forces that oppose it. Think about the cross for a moment, not as a distant artifact, but as the condensation of the worst day becoming the doorway to the best possible ending. Archetypally, that's what you're doing. You take the instrument of suffering, the invoice, the statement, the humiliating phone call, and you lift it up. You confront it voluntarily, and something strange happens. The venom still enters your veins. Fear doesn't vanish, but it no longer rules your behavior. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's prioritized obedience to the good in the presence of fear. Some of you will say, but a little debt never hurt anyone. Maybe. And a little lie rarely ends the marriage. The danger isn't in the size, it's in the direction. Every month you either practice freedom or you rehearse servitude. There's no neutral posture. Your spine is learning. Others will say, the system is rigged. Parts of it are. Predatory products exist precisely to capture the inattentive. All the more reason to become the kind of person who can't be captured, someone who reads contracts, asks questions, and says no without apology. The world needs more of that person, starting with you. Let me tell you something I've seen repeatedly in clinical and coaching contexts. When people begin to pay down debt purposefully, other domains improve: sleep, relationships, even posture. Why? Because they stop telling themselves the quiet, corrosive lie, I'll deal with it later. Their nervous system learns that they keep promises to themselves. That discovery is worth more than the interest saved, although the math is terrific. It means you become someone your future can trust. Timeline? Quicker than you think if you persevere longer than you feel like. 12 to 36 months changes almost any picture that isn't utterly catastrophic. And if it is catastrophic, the path is the same, only slower and with more help. You make the first payment, you make the next. You fix one leak, then another. You learn to cook. You sell what doesn't fit the person you're becoming. You stop advertising wealth you don't possess. You let humility do its underground work. And then one ordinary day you notice silence. No collectors, no dread when the phone vibrates, just the quiet hum of a life you're actually steering. And then what? Then you do something dangerous in the best sense. You use your freedom to serve the good. You invest in your children's future without fear. You give generously without resentment. You take creative risks because failure won't bankrupt your soul. You become, in a very real way, a pillar in your community, a person others borrow courage from instead of money. So here's the challenge, framed as a vow you can take tonight. I will know my numbers by the end of this week. I will automate minimums and attack one debt with intensity. I will cut 3 comforts that weaken me and keep one that strengthens me. I will build a 1-month buffer. I will practice a valuable skill daily. I will report my progress to 3 people I respect. I will not purchase identities on credit. I will earn them. You don't need perfect conditions to start. You need a spine, a pen, and one honest hour. The chains you feel were forged link by link. They break the same way. And every time you choose the hard right over the easy wrong, the world tilts a degree toward order, first in your ledger, then in your household, then, if enough of us do it, in the culture that taught you to worship plastic and call it freedom. Debt is slavery. Call it what it is. Then choose your exodus through responsibility, through clarity, through disciplined courage. The promised land isn't a lottery ticket. It's a person you become, one payment, one practice, one brave conversation at a time.